Okay, looks like we're live, and this is the first ever bikini photo retouching session number 1 with Chantal. And I'll give you guys a heads up who Chantal is. You can see by the screen right there. And we are going to be doing the photo retouching tonight of Chantal. And so the reason I'm doing this is because everybody always asks me, they message me, how do you retouch photos? You know, people want to see behind the scenes of kind of like what I do. Most of the time doing photography, this is the stuff that you end up doing sitting in front of the computer for hours. And it's pretty boring after a while. You get tired of listening to podcasts. So I figured, why don't I just live stream the sessions and you guys can come and hang out and we can check out, just talk. I'll read the chat. You guys can see what I'm doing, check out the hot models. Recently, I started another YouTube channel called Bikini Girl Magazine, which is related to my actual digital magazine that I started during the pandemic. Because most of my business was pretty wiped out. All of my event photography, portrait photography, headshots, all that stuff. You really weren't doing too much of that, because it's all person to person. So I got it in my head since I've been photographing models for about 20 years, and I was submitting to magazines all over the world. Why don't I just start my own digital magazine? I've got 20 years worth of archives of modeling photography, and there's stuff that people have never even seen before, mainly because when you do a photo shoot with a model, you're photographing probably, I've shot upwards of 1,000 images and 6, 8, 10 different photo sets and outfits and scenes. Well, realistically, maybe you send your best like 4 or 5 out to an editor of a magazine and they select one. And this was when we used to have print magazines. So you would get one published, and then back in the days, I used to have a bunch of websites and I put galleries up online, but for the most part, people don't ever see all the other amazing images that don't get published. And the published photos really basically comes down to the subjectivity of the editor at the magazine. I found it's just whoever the photo editor of a magazine finds is hot, and it's personal taste. So you could have something that's this amazing photo, and you think it's incredible. The model loves it, and then the editor hates it. So there's so much stuff that I'd love to show you guys that I'm going to do with this live stream and just hang out and just talk and just hang out with the bros and chat about, that's if anybody ever logs in and signs up. But judging by the response on the modeling videos on this channel, John Cocozza Photography, and you guys love the modeling videos and the behind the scenes stuff I do of the modeling shoots. So this is just another process to that. So basically, I've got a pretty basic setup here using Streamlabs. Pretty much just taught myself today. It was the first time ever using it. Got my whole new setup here, lights and computers and everything like that. So pretty excited. Put a couple days into building this all out. And you can see I've got my banners for Bikini Girl magazine up there, which you guys can just go to bikinigirlmagazine.com and check out. It's sign up is $6.99 a month. You get the digital magazine downloaded straight to your cell phone each month, and the digital magazine contains all the super hot like nude photos and implied nude photos that we can't post on social media. So a lot of these hot girls I get to shoot, we do some nude shots of them and nude videos, and the members, it's on Patreon. It's Bikini Girl. It's actually patreon.com/Bikini Girl. If you just want to go directly there, if you're a Patreon member. And then you get the digital magazine each month, and you also get the sexy videos, and you get access to my archives that I'm constantly posting each month, like photo sets and stuff. And then we'll be editing certain sets live, and then we'll be posting them to the site as well. So Super excited, guys. What we can do is we can just basically start getting into it, and I'll kind of just watch the chat and see if anybody comes in. Be surprised if anybody does, really. So I was testing this out before, and I'm walking around after coming back from working out. I'm just sweaty and I'm a mess. I haven't showered yet, and I guess I was live streaming for, I think, like 30 minutes as I'm walking around the apartment and setting up lights and doing stuff. And yeah, it was pretty funny. Yeah, it was just like I saw somebody chatting to me, and I'm like, oh crap, I'm live, man. Oh man. So yeah, we'll just get to it, man. So let me switch screens right here, and we're gonna get to the modeling view. And let's see here. Let's check out. So we've got these images. Now, what I've done already is these are the JPEGs. So most of the time, I can explain to you guys my workflow. So this isn't normally how I set up my foldering. Right now I'm using Adobe Bridge. I use Adobe Bridge, I use Photoshop, and I use Nik software. Some people use different software. This is just what I've been accustomed to, and I've built all my workflows out of. And you guys, if you're photographers or if you start doing photography, workflows and organization is the backbone of anything, because man, you're going to be shooting thousands of photos, and you need to be able to have some sort of system to kind of organize all this stuff. So basically what I'll do is I'll separate all the raw files, and you can kind of see all these loading up right here. So Chantal and I, what we did was we did some studio shots. She came over here. I have a studio in the back of the place that's 12 feet by 18 feet with a 9-foot ceiling, and I'm all set up in there for gray backdrops, white, like white panel cove, green screening. And she was just really down to do some test shots, and we just were experimenting with lighting. I was trying to do, key light right on her and blow her out, and then also, off to the side, kind of Rembrandt light, if, we try to get that. Let's see if this will go full screen here. So Rembrandt Light is, if you can see my arrow key, is you're trying to create that triangular right there. You've got the light at a 45-degree angle coming across onto your model or subject or person, and then you've got that little light, and you've got some heavy shadows right there. So let's go back to this. So what I'll normally do is when I import photography and I download everything, I download, say, like 800 photos. What I'll do is I'll go through all those photos, and then I just star everything. I'll rate everything, and I'll just hit it 1 star. And I'll kind of go through and I'll just separate my favorites from the deletes. And then what I'll do is I'll put all my favorites into, like, the way I file name everything, if you guys can see, is I'll do year, month, day, dash, modeling, that's the subject, and then the, or the genre of photography, and then the person, whatever it is, if it's an event, and then basically here's my raw files. And then I take all the ones I don't want and I put those into raw outtakes. And what I'll do is then I'll just focus on the raws, and I'll just start going through, and if you can see here, we'll load this up into Photoshop. I've already gone through and I've done my adjustments in the raw. So the photos of these, they're all done. That's, that's kind of boring stuff. Well, most of the photo editing is pretty boring. So, so this is, we're going to start actually, I've converted some already to JPEGs over here. And then this, of course, is the avatar photo, the thumbnail photo that hopefully YouTube doesn't take down, which I'm freaking super pissed at YouTube because they're constantly removing my thumbnails. So they're constantly censoring thumbnails like this and saying it violates community guidelines, even though it's just a girl in a bikini. And if you go to Sports Illustrated's channel, there's stuff way more risky than this. There's girls just full on sheer, see-through nipples, topless, body paint, everything. So very upset with YouTube about that. But so we're going to come back here and we're going to go back into the JPEG folder. And let's see here. So I have already retouched some of these. So we got, usually what I'll do is, you see here on the file name, if I've worked on it, I'll put at the end of it, edit, and then I put the size. So this was an 8x12, so it's kind of done. So as I'm working on stuff, I can basically figure out like what I've already edited. So we've got that one, that one, that one is all done. So we can get to this new one right here. And it looks like I may have done some preliminary editing with the Nix software. So what I did was I ran all of these photos through Nix software's, did I use the dynamic skin softener on this? Possibly not. I'm not sure. This one looks like it definitely did have it run through. But this one maybe not. So these ones I definitely didn't. I know for these ones I did not run that through. So we'll just kind of get into it. I'm just trying to pick up like where we were in this. So let's see here. We're going to go into this photo right here. We'll load this up. This is my Nix software add-on right there. And let's see here, what are we going to do? Realistically, the whole reason I wanted to do this was because I used to love watching Bob Ross. I used to love watching it. We're going to paint a little happy little cloud right here. It's your world. It's wherever this little cabin with the barn wants to go with the path, and happy little path. So we're going to do that with these models. So if you hear me say, oh, we're going to retouch this happy little thigh right here, that's how it kind of goes. So if I get all Bob Ross on you guys, don't mind me. So let's see here. Actually, I added a text layer by accident. So, and this is the first time I've ever run Streamlabs and streaming software, basically also photo editing at the same time. So I'm on, I think, like about 2015 Mac. So I'm not quite sure. So if the thing runs slower than normal. So right off the bat in this photo, what do I see that we need to do? Okay, we got darken in this space right here. This looks like might be off the mat right there. So let's take care of that like right off the bat and go up in there. And we're going to switch to clone stamp. We're just going to kind of, now this is the thing, like, you know, I was speaking with a client one time and telling them how, you know, editing and stuff like that, there's always a million ways to skin a cat. So if you're a photographer out there and you do modeling, editing and stuff like that, and you've got a better way to do things, I am always open to suggestions. So we will check this out. I just want to kind of darken this. I don't want to have too much of that in there in the shot. And then we got to take care of this. So we got, so probably what I'll do here is I will lasso out this area right here just to get some black in here. And then we can always do the, there we go. So I'll just create a new layer right there. And then what we're going to do is we'll take the paint bucket and then we are going to just drop that in right there in that new layer. Perfect. And then what we can do is, I just don't like to have too many extra layers in there, so we'll just merge layers. Now that they're merged, I can zoom in and I can work on just getting that as close to her body as possible. And then we go over it again. go. Now, I am hoping that I did not do this. And, you know, sometimes when you're shooting the way I like to shoot, sometimes I just kind of like let the model, you know, sometimes you want to let the model kind of flow on her own and do her own poses instead of you just constantly directing her, which gets super tiring after a while. I mean, if you're shooting with somebody for 2 to 3 hours and you have to constantly direct them and tell them how to pose, while at the same time you have to worry about your lighting and just your composition and I mean everything like that. It just gets very distracting. So there we go. That works like that. Now let's see here. Now we're going to get into the, let's take care of this right here, this whole section down the bottom. For that, what I'm probably going to do is I'll probably use Nik software, and I'm going to use the Vivesa tool. And this will allow me to use like an elliptical tool. And I don't want to get her hair. So see how that dark that gets right there? So probably what I'll do is I'll darken this. Let me shrink this elliptical. That's what I love about Vivesa is you can kind of select a region and see that can get dark right there. And realistically, all I need is I just need one little area that I can darken, because then I can always just use the clone stamp tool and or like you just saw, I can just use, there we go. So that's nice and black. But see, sometimes what happens is when you do the black like that, then you lose a little bit of the highlights in the hair. So what I'll do is I'll open up another Vivesa, and then I'm going to go back in there, and I'm just going to do a small elliptical on her hair. And we'll just pull that out right about there. Just like that. That works. So, okay. Yeah, that actually worked like that. That's cool. And then what I'll probably do is, when I do stuff like that, I'll just kind of highlight some darks. If I see some things in there, I'll just kind of go over them. Now we can kind of start getting into, what I'm going to do is I'm going to merge and flatten those layers, because that's done. I'm not going to go back and change that, so it's okay for me to just flatten that out. So now we're going to start working on the skin. And let's see here. We'll start working on her skin. So what area do we want to work with first? Control points. So I'm going to add a control point right about there on her leg. We're going to try it. Now what I do is I destructure her skin just like that. So bam, that kind of takes care of her skin right there. And then we are going to get that leg. Boom, that's done. You can see that. Got a little area on the boob right there. I really don't, stuff like this. I don't like doing, if we're going to watch this series and you guys are going to hang out and check out some more videos, I don't like doing like the ultimate porcelain skin on girls where they have absolutely zero features, zero contours. It's just this porcelain blurred out skin. I don't like doing that because it's not real. So, I mean, I think less is more. I've had girls yell at me over the phone and tell me I'm absolutely horrible, but at the same time, other girls like it. So I don't know. It's just personal preference. I think, you just got to kind of, I don't see the point in creating, making a girl that you shot just totally porcelained out and completely filtered out. I think you need to have some semblance of reality with your shot. So let's see here. There we go. Now, foreheads usually get a lot of hot spots. Unless you have a makeup artist on hand and a stylist on hand, that can constantly apply powder. When you're using lights and all kinds of stuff like that, you start, models sweat, the makeup, maybe they didn't apply their foundation like too thick. You really want a super thick foundation. It's not like putting on normal makeup. I tell models all the time, and this is a good tip to tell people, that kind of looks like it's, actually let me put a control point here on the swimsuit and see if I can just, yeah, see, like that. Kind of, that's why I love Avesa. Just kind of gets rid of stuff like that, and then boom, it's going to render. There we go. And you can see, yeah, you can definitely see. It's not like super crazy, but we can go over there and soften some areas. So, and I'll just use clone stamp for that. So let's see here. Now this is where it just gets super tricky. You gotta kind of find an area that will blend well. And just gotta kind of make it all look like it was supposed to be like that. Leg is fine. Get rid of that. Don't like that right there. Smooth that out. Now retouching, when you have like gorgeous, like flat light, everything's even, very easy to retouch skin. When you start getting into shadows and you have fall off of light, where it just goes from like a little light then to shadow, it gets a lot harder. It's kind of, you got to really be subtle. You got to remember your transitions. So the skin got blown out right there. That's going to be a little tricky. So I got to figure out where I want to pull and sample skin from for her forehead. So I'm going to do some tests right here and see how this works. And if I go silent during the live stream, it's just because I'm thinking about where we're going to pull from. Now, sometimes the other really good thing is if you're going to go work on an area, to just create a new layer and do all your working in that layer, because if you just noticed I used a clone stamp like 50 times. So if you want to go back and you like screwed up, you don't want to have it on the same layer as your Avesa, because if you need to erase it, then you erase all your previous work. So, but sometimes I forget to do that. Kind of got a lot of things going on here. So, we'll see how this goes right here. Yeah, this kind of works. I think that's, let's see, it's going to get a little, pull that out right there. Okay. Let's see how we can, and once again, you can see this is all the stuff that people do not see us do with all these shots of girls. And the computer's just catching up real quick. You see these final images, these girls, they use filters and stuff. What do you think? We should get rid of that? Yeah, we could probably get rid of that. Right there. I'm going to blend that right there. Yeah, that looks pretty soft. Now the next part, this is going to be really tricky. Let's see how this blends right here. See where I can pull from. Oh, that was a pretty good sample. Sometimes you luck out and you sample like a really good part of the skin, and you can just go and work from that area. It's, I'll tell you what though, like when I first started doing this, man, it was crazy how much work you would do in Photoshop. And that's part of why I wanted to actually do this whole thing, was because, you know, I've been shooting models since film, and right when Photoshop just started coming out, and man, the amount of work you would have to do. I mean, all this technology, all these tools, all this stuff in Photoshop wasn't around back then. And you used to spend hours and hours and hours on projects and just photos. You could spend an hour on a single photo. So let's pull out real quick and see how that kind of looks. That kind of looks okay. Kind of don't like that transition right there though. I'll bring that up right there. Yeah, there we go. Kind of filter that. Now, something I like to do afterwards is I kind of like to load up Vivesa again and just add another layer on there of, let's see here. So what I'll do is I'll go on here. Now, with Vivesa, you got your brightness, you got your contrast, saturation, structure, shadowing, warmth, and then your RGB and your hue. So sometimes what I'll do is when you're retouching skin like that, you can sometimes wash it out, or sometimes you can make it too dark. So what I'll do is, this looks a little washed out, so I'll add just kind of like about 20%, a little bit of warmth, and maybe bring down the brightness and see that's a little too much. There we go. So that kind of blended that a little bit better. And you're kind of like returning the skin to like a natural tone. And there we go. So boom. And then another little control point there. And there we go. And I think that one is done. Let's just do a pullback real quick. So we're going to pull out of that shot. Yeah, so I'm going to get that layer going, let that render. And let's pull back out of this image. Other really quick tip, guys, learn your hotkeys. You will save a lifetime over the long run of editing. Yeah, I like it. That's good. That one's done. So we got our 3 layers there. I never really saved the PSD files, so I am just going to flatten that out. Going to do save on this. We're going to go into the JPEG file, and what I do is I do edit 8x12. Save that, and boom, done. Image in the bank, man. All right. So I just go back and pull these up right here. You can see the difference. So there was our initial image. We had a little too much light here on the cloth. Cloth kind of came off the edge right there, so filled that in, took care of this area right here, took care of this little area underneath the boob, this little area underneath the boob right there, and her forehead here, and then just underneath her eyes, which this is super common. Like these areas right here are, you always get hot spots. You get hot spots on the nose, under the eyes, everything like that. So that was our original image, and then boom, that's what we changed it to. I like it. What do you think? It's hot chick. You're just like, yeah, whatever, dude. We're just here for the smoking hot Asian girl with the boobs and the tattoo on her body. Yeah, that's pretty good. Oh, and by the way, I have this on the other screen right here. This is Chantal, and you can follow Chantal right here on her Instagram page. Chantal Renata is, I think, how it is. So make sure to go follow her, and we can go back to the screenshots right here. And let's do this. So that's saved. We're going to delete the previous one. No need to keep that. And look how many more we get to do. So I was thinking to myself, like I prepped all these other images, and I'm like, oh yeah, we'll do all these things. Now, how long it took to kind of explain things and go slow. Because normally, like when I'm editing, I'm just like focused and I'm just like cranking away on shots. But when you're doing this and I'm kind of explaining at the same time, it's a little slower. But what up? We got our first viewer right there. Dude, say hello, bro. You're on my first ever live stream right now. So, hope you enjoy. We're working on bikini models. We're retouching photos. And this is Chantal. So we're kind of going through the images and we are showing you guys like all these hot girls that I kind of shoot with. And I'm showing you how we retouch these photos. And just hanging out, chatting. So if you got any questions, dude, you are the first. If you don't have any questions, you just want to check out the hot chick, it's fine too, man. It's cool by me. I am just hanging out, so go back in. And what I kind of like to do is I like to start with the same workflow that I did the last time. This area is kind of small, so I won't really lasso that out. I can just kind of freeform it, just, you know, and I'll just pull this a little tighter with the clone stamp and just get that line really good. And actually, you can kind of create kind of cool effects by doing this. It almost looks like she had a rim light on purpose on her skin right there. A little extra light. Okay, so that's taken care of. And let's see here. Next, we're going to go to the cloth over here and do that again. And this is what happens. You just kind of start getting in this like workflow of how you edit. You just repetitive. You just kind of keep on going back and forth. And let's see here. I'm going to go to this control point right there. We're going to shrink this guy. And I'm going to darken that area right there, but we don't want to lose the hair highlights. So we're going to add that. And then now what we'll do is we'll kind of clean up this cloth area right here and get rid of that. So boom, 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 boom. Kind of get rid of all those. Smooth that all out. Looks like we got a little dust speck right there. And then see, you always got to watch that you don't clone stamp something else from the, maybe come through right about there, take that out. So you kind of picked up the elbow from the clone stamp, and then kind of take that out right there. Yeah, that looks good. So, let's see here. Okay, now we're on to her body. So let's go back. And we're going to open up Vivesa, and we're going to control point her body. And man, when we're doing these live streams, you guys got any questions about modeling shoots? Dude, do I have stories to tell you guys? Yeah. So you guys ever have any questions about things? So now we're going to go and destructure the skin right there. Kind of come up here, this inside leg. We're going to shrink that right there. And then we're going to destructure the skin just a little bit there. We'll hit her boob right about there. Just real subtle little kind of placements like this. So there's another tool that comes with the Nik software that I like using, and that is the It's Color Effects Pro, and they have this thing called a dynamic skin softener that I love to use on girls' skin, because you kind of set it to whatever parameters you want. It goes by large details, medium details, and then small details. Well, you can set those to percentages up to like about 100%, and man, it's really, really effective. It can kind of like wipe wipe the skin. It gives you like, just a super nice like wipe across her skin just to start with, and then you can kind of go from there. You can kind of isolate these. I was working on these preliminary like back in the day, like probably pre-pandemic, and I sent her over like a couple sets of photos from different outfits. But in this one we shot like probably 8 different outfits of lingerie and bikinis, which we'll show you after after we continue on with the series. We'll revisit her. So I think that's it. I think that's all the control points there. So let's see here. Let's let this render. Then boom, right there. And you can kind of see what we just did to her skin right there. So we did bam and then bam, just like that. So then what we'll do is, because we didn't do this the last time, let me duplicate the layer. So now we got our layer right here. I'm going to merge these two Vivesa layers because we were done with those, and we got this extra layer here. Now I'm going to come in, I'm just going to kind of clean up her skin a little bit. So let's see here, let's see how this blends. Oop, wrong layer. There we go. So you always got to make sure you're on the top layer to work on that. And let's see here. Get rid of that right there. Let's see here. Is this going to blend? Yeah, a little bit. It was okay. Yeah, see, I keep on missing that right there, but it's okay. I'll just go over that right there. And all right, let's do right here. Okay. See, that got pretty dark right there. Yeah. And like I said, if you guys know, or if you're sitting out there and you're like a master clone stamper, you got some suggestions on brushes, and Photoshop's amazing like that, man. I work with the graphic designer that lays out Bikini Girl magazine, Tyler. Guy's phenomenal. The guy, I used to work with him at Surf Shop magazine back in the day, and dude's just a stud. Stud with graphics. We were recently doing a job for an industrial manufacturing company, and they had like these custom manufacturing machines, big, huge machines that they work on. So I had to do the product photos of them, and the client asked me, they were like, hey, we've got this machine, but it's broken up into 4 different parts. And they're like, but we'd like to somehow like show it all together. So what we did was, I had a feeling, I was like, well, I could just shoot these things individually, and then either I can try to blend them all together onto a graphic, or I could just find a graphic designer to do it. I had Tyler in mind. And man, what he came back with, I mean, this guy like removed every single wire, cable, blended these things like perfectly together, seamlessly. And I'm just sitting there just like, dude, how did you do that with photo? And that's just it. Like, some people with Photoshop, man, they just sit there and they have figured this program out. They know all kinds of little tricks. And then too, the other thing that happens is, I have another buddy. He has been on Photoshop for like pretty much since it started. The guy's just a master at it. But he works on a lot of different things. He doesn't really work on modeling shoots and photography. He's doing Photoshop for, marketing clients and brands and stuff like that. So he's doing all kinds of editing. He was working for a company at one time and making really like a sizable sum of money for these guys. And I remember we were doing stuff, and he was over here, and we were kind of like looking at things, and then I was working on images of girls, and I was doing something, and he's like, wait a minute, how did you just do that? And I'm like, oh, remove this on the model or something like that. And it was just kind of something like a little process that I had just figured out that he had never thought of doing before. And he's like, dude, it's crazy. Like, all this time working on Photoshop, and you show somebody who's a master at it. It's just a way that you have of doing things. So this is getting a little tricky right here. This is a weird blend right here. Probably should have softened the skin a little bit more before I started this and blended it a little bit more. Let's see if we can get this dialed. I don't want to have to restart on this. That's the worst, is restarting on a blend. So let me cheat a little bit. We're going to pull up a Vesa and go and cheat. So what sometimes I'll do is I'll come in here and I'll just apply another Vivesa layer onto the skin and just kind of soften things out at one more time. So let's see here. There we go. Bam. And actually we can just do our warmth right there. We'll bump it up. And then we're going to hit her forehead. And let's see here. Bam. Done. Looks good to me. So what up, guys? 2 viewers in the room. Man, you're on my first live stream session. You guys got any questions? Let me know, man. It's the first time ever doing this. I'm live streaming photo editing sessions for you guys. So let's see here. So now we're going to flatten the layer, and we're going to reveal the model again. There we go. Yeah. Does that work or what? I like it. So let's save this guy. Okay, we'll go 8 by 12. Dump that in there. All right. Close that out. Bam. 2 down. Here we go. Looks pretty good, right? Think so. Right, on to image number 8. Let's skip around. Let's do a different shot. We don't have to go through every single image right there. We'll skip around. So if you guys notice, I tried to, let me go back to the other screen here. So, if you notice here in this photo set, and this was probably narrowed down, this is 31 images. This was probably narrowed down from about 80 that we shot maybe, but we started off on the ground laying on the back, and you can kind of see the different poses and just angles. So I'll shoot a girl and I'll have her hit a pose, and then I like to have her move her head and give me different facial expressions. Because once you find the body and set the body, like that's the thing. You, like, find the body, set the body, have her hold the body. These girls do yoga and Pilates all the time. They can handle it. So then have them move their face around and like really kind of get into it, and that's when you can kind of start getting the angles of shots. Like this one right here, that looks like that one. That's the one we just retouched. I'm scrolling around, like, wow, that one looks good right there. I was like, oh yeah, that's what we just did, of course. So yeah, so then we do shots like that, and then you try something different. You have them sit up, or maybe they're just kind of like moving around. Sometimes I think this shot, what happened was she rolled up off the ground and then sat like this, and I was like, whoa, hold it right there. So like this shot right here, we're catching the edge of the studio room here and here. Who cares? That's just gone with the clone stamp. So let's open this guy up. We'll work on this one, and then we'll get to the kneeling shots. Man, we're going 45 minutes now. This is crazy. I can see, I got a lot of friends on YouTube who live stream all the time. And man, I could already tell, like, you got to train your voice sitting here talking this entire time. So this one's simple. All right, this is the fun part. This is like Bob Ross used to say, beat the devil out of it. I'm going to clone stamp the devil out of it. Just do-do-do. You guys remember, I know, I don't want to say his name here, but the really funny comedian who got in a lot of trouble doing very bad things with chicks. Very, very bad things. He was kind of America's dad, but he used to have this show, and he used to do this thing with this pen, and he'd always make these noises like when he'd be drawing stuff. It was kind of funny. So this is, let's see here, I'm going to shadow that all out. Like that. Yeah, that kind of works. I like that. Gotta always be careful not to shadow the skin of the model like I just did there. You just saw that. Okay. If you do, you just quickly undo it and just reset and go again. But see, now what I'm thinking is that I don't want to lose her. I don't want to lose her leg right there completely. So this is where it gets tricky, figuring out. You got to kind of plan your strategy of what you're going to do. You want to lose the fingernails, but you don't want to have like these kind of bright spots. So you can kind of get in there and just keep on pulling that around. There we go. Take care of that corner, take care of that. Okay, that works for me. Now let's see here. Let's do some brightening real quick. So what I didn't use in this shot, it looks like I was just doing a single light in this one. So I didn't use a hair light for this. We were just testing like one light and different angles like that. So let's see if we can pull out some shadows. Yeah, a little bit of details coming out. Not much. I'll see, but we're getting some like weird effect right there on her skin from brightening that. So we'll take that back down. Keep that back down to 0 right there. Okay. So let's see where else. Since we're in Vivesa, we might as well just work on her skin. Let's do this. Let's get on this right here. Let's take care of that leg, destructure it. Let's also maybe hit her boob. Okay. The YouTube algorithm's going to be like, this guy's on live stream. He's talking about hitting boobs. Yeah, the terminology for editing this is going to probably get me demonetized quite a bit. So, let's see here. This is cool. It's just super subtle. She's just looking all pouty-faced at the camera. All right, so there we go. There's our layer right there. So now let's go ahead and create a duplicate layer to work on. And just going to mess with something. Don't like to use this tool a lot, but this was kind of bugging me right here. So I'm in the, no, that's not going to work. Pull that out, pull that out, shrink those. Yep, yep, yep. Just kind of thin those out a little bit. What do you think? I think that works. Gotta be very careful with the liquefy tool. You could go crazy with that. You can make a girl go from a A cup to a D cup with the liquefy tool. Yeah, I think that works. I like that. That's kind of subtle. Everything kind of looks good right there. So let's go ahead and come in here. So the focus is a little soft. Could be from the Vivesa. Could just be from focusing on her. Maybe I just didn't lock the focus in the shot. Happens sometimes. So let's see here. Take care of that skin right there. That's good. Kind of clean that up right there. Get that super smooth underneath there. And I think with this one, you don't see, now this is where it gets like super tricky right here. When you've got like this hard shadow line right here, and then you've got the skin over here, this is where it gets like super tricky trying to kind of blend that and make it look like it's natural. So we'll kind of get rid of this little thing going on right there, kind of smooth that out. So, and the other thing too is you got to remember that if you're working on the right side of her face, and then you go switch over to the left, and then you don't edit the left, it can kind of look kind of weird. But see, with this, with the shadowing, you have a lot more detail in her skin with this shadowing right here. So it's super tricky blending this all together. So see, we're going to come down and then kind of get that, pull up into the eye a little bit. And let's see here. Yeah, that's kind of natural. See, but you always pick up stuff up here. You always, when you're doing the retouching, you always want to zoom in and kind of just make sure that you kind of covered your bases and got everything. So it can make everything kind of look natural. So let's just do a quick little like that. Doesn't work unless you go gotta make those noises. There we go. Okay. So now we're gonna see there's a little bit of let's back out of that. I'm gonna let's see here. And sometimes you pull back out of the shot and you kind of can blend it better. So what I'm going to actually do is, now that I did some initial editing right there to kind of smooth it out, let's load back up Vivesa. We will zoom back in on that little beautiful cheek of Chantal's. And we're going to maybe soften that a little bit more. Let's pull the control point in. See that it's got like this nice like little elliptical tool right about there. It doesn't want to, I'm just going to blend that a little bit more right there and soften that. There we go. What up, guys? See you in the chat. 2 more viewers. First live stream ever. You saw it here tonight. We are editing bikini model photos tonight. So yeah, I kind of like that. That kind of works as the final image. What do you guys think? Oh, you're not there anymore. Oh well. I guess you didn't like the photo. So, but that is it. I think one last thing I'm going to do on the shot is we're going to come over here, not onto the black screen. Okay, so we are going to come over here onto the photo. And this area right here is just annoying me a little bit. It's the fabric of the swimsuit. So let's see if we could just take the destructure tool and kind of get rid of that. Not really. But, okay. Yeah, that works for me. So one thing I like to do is, I've started, so back in the day, we'll go on a little tangent right now. So back in the day, I used to shoot all the girls because it was all from magazines. And usually, like the way they would run it is you'd always get a full page spread. So, you're working with like an 8.5 by 11 kind of size. So I would always photograph girls vertically. And nowadays, because you're dealing with computer screens, cell phones, Instagram, you need to be able to square off images. You need to be able to have like more horizontal. Now I'm shooting a lot of girls all horizontal. And then if I need to do a vertical shot, I'm just leaving more headroom and then room down on the bottom for cropping for the most part. So it's weird how things have changed from when back in the day I used to frame an image specifically how I would want it published. And you would tell the editor, yeah, that's, don't do any cropping if the editor was cool enough. And but nowadays, like this girl may square this off. So if you see here, and I switch this to a fixed ratio, the girl may come in here and she might want this squared off for Instagram, right? So we'll just do this real quick and boom. So that's your standard Instagram crop. So let that thing render and crop. Boom. So there's your Instagram photo right there. So we're not going to save it like that because we want the full image. But the other thing too is that with the development of websites, with Facebook banners, with all kinds of banners on, just all this different stuff, you have all this negative space right here if you want to do graphics, to add titles, like if she's got an OnlyFans page, if she wants to put like all her different websites on here, you can put stuff on there, hugs and kisses from Chantal, so that this image is done right here. So what we're going to do is we're going to save this guy, and like before, just so I know that I worked on it, I'm going to save it 8x12. So you got another viewer right here. How's the live stream? How's it sound? Give me some feedback. Write something in the chat. There we go. It's the first time ever doing this. So hoping somebody can let me know that they can actually hear me. This would be funny if I've been on the live stream for like an hour now and there's no sound on the other end. And you guys are like, what the heck's this guy doing over here? It's just got a fat guy behind the desk like working on bikini model images. So we save that, and let's come back here. Bam. So there we go. That's the final image for that one. What do you think? You like that one? Think it's good? Yeah? Okay. So let's get into these vertical shots right here. These are pretty hot. So which one should we work on? What do we got here? We've got a total of 9 images. I'll kind of circulate through these. Okay, number 1, number 2, number 3. Got one viewer in the chat right there. Tell me which image we're working on. Here's number 4. Number 5. That's kind of hot. I like that one. The leaning over, yeah. That one's got a little too much shadow, but that's pretty hot actually. That could be a contender. We might work on that one. And let's see here. That one looks like it might be a little out of focus in the face. And then this is where we start getting into the implied nudes. Start taking her top off. That's pretty sexy. So I'm thinking that we should work on either this one or we should work on that one right there. I don't know, what do you think? We going with number 1, or I'm saying number 2. What do you think? Yeah, let's just do number 2 right here. We'll go back to the other one. We'll do both of them. And let's load this up. And by the way, this is we'll go back real quick. You guys want to check her out? You can check her out. Chantal is the model. You can follow her at her Instagram right here. And she's got some super hot photos on her Instagram. This girl's gorgeous. I was really stoked to have worked with this girl. Super sweet too, like really nice. Like it's fun to work with hot girls. It's also a lot more fun to work with hot girls that are actually cool. So that you can actually talk with and have a conversation with during the shoot, and they're really nice. Because a little secret, not all of them are. Okay, so what we're going to do here is let's get started with the ground. So we're going to shade this in, and instead of darkening the whole image, like this image is already pretty dark, I'm actually going to sample from up here, and then I'm just going to kind of fill in some little patches down there, and patches down here. There we go. And then I can run that across and just keep on resampling. Yeah, there we go. And it's okay to have a little bit of light show through, like a little bit of light fall off. I don't mind that. Makes it look a little bit more natural. It'd be kind of weird if she was just sitting straight on a solid black. Oopsie. So that's where we're going to zoom in real quick and okay, that works. Oh. Okay. And we'll come up, bring this up in here a little bit, make it flow a little bit better. There we go. A little bit more natural. There we go. Maybe it's a little bit right about there. Okay, cool. So now what we're going to do is we'll load up Vivesa. Okay, so I already know we're going to have to do some control points on her face. Okay. Let's see how much this will do structure. Wasn't too much. I was hoping for a little bit more. Oh, you know what? I think I might need to run this through. So this would be a perfect example. These haven't been run through the dynamic skin softener yet. So we can do that actually. Let's see here. Very, very sensitive. There we go. Yeah, these shots, I just realized I converted these, but these haven't been worked on yet. And we can run these through the dynamic skin softener and batch the whole thing. Yeah, so let's do this. Let me just, we'll take care of this first image, and then I'll actually, that's the next thing we'll do, is we'll do the dynamic skin softener on the kneeling shots. Yeah, so let's now zoom out. And let's check out the rest of her body and see if anything else needs to be, maybe right there we'll add a little bit. So we're going to just add a little bit of the destructuring right there. Perfect. Yeah, that works. Okay, so now next step, duplicate layer. Duplicate layer. I got to get a soundbite of Arnold saying that for the live stream. So like every time I go to duplicate layer, we could just have Arnold saying, duplicate the layer, duplicate the layer. It'd be great. And then, you know, what would be good is we just go through here and just kind of clean up all these tiny, tiny, tiny little blemishes. Tiny. I mean, this girl was so smoking hot. And, you know, that's the thing with Instagram is that, you know, back in the day before we had filters and before we had all the social media sites and all that stuff, pretty much like a lot of them, you know, this all had to be done with makeup. You know, girls would show up for shoots and all this had to be done with a makeup artist. And nowadays, we've kind of probably replaced makeup artists for, you know, smaller shoots with the retouching and everything like that. You can kind of get away with a lot more stuff. And but back in the day, man, dude, sometimes I remember one time, that's the interesting thing is that I remember one time I was on a shoot with my mentor and he was doing a photo shoot at his studio, and the theme was he was taking a model, and it was supposed to be for surf forecasting. So that was the thing. It's like, predicting when the waves were going to come. And we were at his studio in downtown San Diego, and he told me, he's like, all right, now that we have the whole scene set up, go stand outside and wait for the model. I was gopher. I was like second assistant, so I was the, just the total minion. Go wait on the street for the model, point her to the right building. So we were doing that, and I remember the model showed up, and I didn't know it was the model. The girl comes walking up to me, and she's like, hi, is this where so-and-so studio is? And I was like, yeah, who are you? I was like, are you the makeup artist or stylist? And she's like, no, I'm the model. And I was like, oh, okay. And then I was like, whoa, okay, something's wrong here. But little did I know that it's not all about initial appearance. It's about how photogenic somebody is. Because this girl went in, and I was sitting there thinking, man, like, I'm thinking in my head, like, model, like, it's got to be like this gorgeous hot chick. Like, I was, super young. I was like 21 or so. So I really didn't know too much. What do they say? Young, dumb, and full of cum, basically. That's what an old Marine used to say to me all the time. He used to just, like, oh, kid, you're a nice kid, but you're too young, dumb, and full of cum. So I was like, what, dude? But now as I'm older, like, I totally get it. So basically the model shows up, and she goes into makeup, once the makeup artist shows up, and she comes out like 45 minutes later, hairstyled, makeup, shading, layering, all this stuff. And I'm just like, damn, like, that does not even look like the same girl. Holy crap. And then when we put her in front of the camera, and my mentor started shooting her, and we're looking at these shots, and we got the proof. I couldn't believe it was the same girl. It was crazy. But that's, the difference back in the day than it is today. So, man, you see all these girls on Instagram, like, sometimes they definitely do not look like they look in real life, which is like the South Park. Remember that South Park episode? When they all get the filters and all the kids are dating girls, but they're not like dating them in person. They're just like, oh my God, dude, like, look at my girlfriend. Like, isn't she so hot? But then she's like standing right there next to the kids in real life. She doesn't look like that at all. And she's just dating the filter. Yeah, man. Dude, some funny shit. Well, I'm kind of stoked on that. So that's what happens. I start just kind of getting in the rhythm, and I start working on the skin, and you just kind of get in the flow. But what we're going to do on this one is just the last step. I'm just going to kind of do happy little warmth right here on her skin. Just kind of adding some warmth back. Just not much. Just about like 10, 11%. Just tad. So add a little bit of warmth up here, and warmth to that super pouty face right there. And let's see here. Okay. Yeah. Works for me. What do you think? Work for you? You guys can say something in chat if you like it. It's all good. Not going to hurt my feelings. The photo's already shot. Okay, so let's see here. We're going to save this one. And 8x12. Because I pre-set all my JPEGs to 300 DPI 8x12. Just an old habit, just in case you guys send stuff out for magazines. And that is the final image on that one. So let's go and see what it looks like. I'll show you guys before and after. So I think that was image 28. And then here's 28 edit. And what do you think? See, there's a viewer in the chat right there. So that's the original, okay, that we got up on screen right now. And boom, that's the final one. Original, final. So we took care of this underneath here. We kind of filtered the skin right there. Yeah, that works. Okay, so let's delete that one. Okay, so now what we're going to do is I'm actually going to, because I'm pretty sure I didn't run any of these through the dynamic skin softener. And we're going to do 2, so we do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. So now what we can do is we've got this dynamic skin softener and it's over here. We go to, let's see here, image processor. No, it's not image processor. Batch. Yeah, it's going to be batch because I said a batch. So that's the thing, is you can record to blow through editing. You know, you learn actions and you set actions. So what I'll do is I will go and I will pre-record like a skin softener. Actually, let's do that. I'll just do that process just to kind of show you guys how I do that. So what we're going to do is we're going to load up this first image. And then what we're going to do is I'm going to open up my actions over here. And under skin softener, I'm going to delete the previous one because that was for another girl and she had a completely different skin tone. Now see in here I already have the flatten image, the save, and the close. And that's already done. And then what we're going to do is we're going to hit record. We're going to come up here to filter. We're going to go down to Nick Collection. We're going to go to Color Effects Pro. We're going to let that load up. I'm going to have a cocktail. And okay, so it preloaded into the infrared film. I'm going to come down through here. So I have one that's already saved. So now the first thing I do is I'm going to sample her skin to get a good sample. So we did that. So now I sampled the skin, and now that's already saved. And now we have a small detail set to 25, we have the medium to 20, and we have the large details to 15. It's kind of very subtle, like glow effect on the skin. And then we are going to say OK. So now that recorded that, and it's processing right now. And let's see here. Saving, exporting. So then what you can do is you can actually do this for a ton of images at once and then just walk away from your computer. And since that's the only action, we're going to move that to the top, place it in order, and then we're going to flatten image because I've already have those set, and then boom, done. So now let's come back here. Now I already have these things pre-loaded, and oh well, when you build the action and you tell it where you want to save, I always save things to my pictures folder. So that, boom, right there. So that's the shot right there. And you can see that her skin is just super nice and glowed. I love this tool. This is just an amazing filtering tool. Okay, so now what we can do is, now that we've done that one time, we are going to go back to the other shots. And we did that on, let's see here. So we did that on that one. So now that we're going to pick this one. 1, 2, 3. That's already done. 4, 5, 6. And then we're going to go back to Tools. Photoshop, batch, and it should automatically load up the last one that you were working on. And we're going to click OK. And we're going to let this thing run right now. So this is just batching through the photos, and they're all going to save over there, and gives me another time to crack open another cocktail. We got another viewer in the room. It's my first live stream ever. So you're checking out the behind the scenes of how I process all the bikini model images for the channel and all the different girls I work on. I wanted to do a series like this to show you guys like just all the behind the scenes processing, hang out, chat, mainly because it's super boring. And I figured I might as well do it this way. But how's it sound? How's the chat sound? Everything good? He's gone. It's okay. Or she, you know. So this will come back over here to bridge. Let me go back over to pictures. We'll see all these guys loading up right here. And this is a super great tool. I love this tool. It's you got to be careful though, because if you don't sample the skin first, you have that huge variation of beige that people's skins are, from dark browns from people to like light whites. And if you don't sample the right skin tone of the person ahead of time and get that in there, you just don't get the same effect. It's just better to take the eyedropper tool in the dynamic skin softener, sample your model skin, and then just do it nice and subtle. If you do it too much, you set the percentages too high, like 35% large, medium. I've done that before. It doesn't look real. It glows up, glow affects their skin. It doesn't really look good. So it's just super subtle. But what it does is it just washes out all the skin, and it just removes everything from there. So let's see here. This could be done. I don't think it's processing anymore. Nope, it's not processing. So all our images are done. I'm going to move those back over to our last apply to all. Yes, I'm going to replace all of them. We're going to go back there. And boom. So look at all the work we just saved by doing that. All taken care of. Just like that. Now there's some little things in there that definitely still need to be cleaned up. But all in all, super good. So let's see here. We worked on this one already. So let's work on this one right here. And then I think we'll call it a night. Well, maybe that's going to be a tricky one right there. Yeah, we could probably maybe run the dynamic skin softener on that. That'll be our, well, there we go. Oh, that's why. That's how I know we worked on that already. Okay. Sorry guys, just thinking to myself real quick. So let's pick a good one. What do you think? That one or that one? Oh, let's do that one. That one works. So what I do see is we're going to get rid of that down below. Just kind of blend that out right there. Okay. Just a little bit at a time so you don't overdo it. Now we can sample down here, and we can start blending the rest of it. You just start, if you got to cover a large area, you just start super small, and as you expand that large area, then of course you can grab other areas and blend. There we go. There's another trick too, like we were doing in the beginning of the live stream. I could have always just grabbed a Vesa, and I could have just selected that image and then darkened it. The problem is that we're dealing with so many shadows here on her body that I don't want the rest of that to darken more than it already is, because I shot it specifically for this kind of shadowing right here. So let's see here. What we're going to do now is I'm just going to kind of clean up her leg right there. We're going to scroll down her body like that. And here we go. That works like that. We may have a little bit of a nip slip right there. Yeah, we do. We can clean that up. So, oh, we'll clean that up when we're in, we will clean that up when we're back out of this. So now let's just kind of check her face. Check your face. So see the dynamic skin softener. Man, it did so much of the work for us already. It already blended so much of that. It's all smooth. So now what you can do is you can kind of just come in here with the Vivesa tool and watch this. And this just makes it so much easier. So let's see here. Let me see if I can get that elliptical right there. And then normally the computer is running a lot faster when I'm doing this. It's actually buffering the computer itself, probably because we're running the live stream and running Photoshop, which is a beast of a program, and Bridge all at the same time. And now we'll take care of this cheek over here. Okay, so I just need a little bit. Is that too much? Too much? Just a little bit. Come on. There we go. And we'll destructure that sky. See, now that would be like super tough to clean up. That would be super tough to try to get in there. There's a lot of shadowing in there. So we'll just try to destructure that whole little area right there. So it actually made it darker. It's interesting. Can't really see though. It's okay. So what we can do is we can actually get in there and we can just do a little bit of that, a little bit of that. And I should have created a new layer before I did this, but forgot. It's okay. I've only done this about 1,000,000 times. Okay, we'll come up here, kind of clean up these tiny little specks. The skin, a little bit right there, right there. I always equate this to like retouching skin is like trying to level off ice cream when you got like a big tub of ice cream. You're like, I'm just going to keep on eating it. I'm just going to make it level, and then you just dig deep, and it's like, oh, I got to go a little bit more. So you got to be just kind of super careful when you're retouching the skin, that you don't overdo it and create more work for yourself. It's just all about subtlety and blending. And yeah. Now, actually what I'm going to do is, this is kind of a little bit of a hot spot right here. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of blend this together right here. And waiting for the thing to load. And it's just zoomed in from the last time. There we go. So let's see here. Nope, don't want to do that. Okay, so we're just bringing this down slightly, just to bring it. Wasn't completely blown out, but I just want to up see now that we're going into a kind of a grayish hue right there. So, okay. All right. Did we get that? Did I get that? Should we do that? How many layers do I have? Okay. Add Vivesa. So one more time. And let's zoom out. Okay. scroll on down her body. All right, so boom, take care of that leg, destructure it. There we go. So we're going to flatten that. We're going to save all these files. And let's see here. I should save that as edited. There we go. And boom. And then I'll show you the before and after. So that was the before. Boom, after. You can see we did some stuff up here. The changes. Well, just looks a lot nicer. You see that white part of her skin, like right there, that changed. The floor just looks so much better like that, darker. Yeah, everything looks a lot better. Well, for my first live stream, guys, what do you think, man? Leave the comments in the below. Looks like we've been running now about an hour and a half. Crazy. Time goes fast with this. I'm not going to go through and bore you guys with redoing that for the rest of these. Kind of got the gist of it. Hope you guys had fun. So let's go back over here and to the main thing. Okay, so as you guys can see, check down right there. And you guys can check out Bikini Girl magazine. That's my new project. It's a digital magazine. You can download it right to your phone. Check out all the issues. It's $6.99 a month if you're on the Patreon. Go to patreon.com/bikinigirl, and you get access to all the magazines for $6.99 a month. If you just want to check out one issue, you can go to the Mag Forest. Both of those are linked off of bikinigirlmagazine.com. You just go there, you can find the links just like that. Make sure to follow us on, where is it? Right there, there. How do I do this? Right there, all the links. So we have a Bikini Girl Magazine YouTube channel now where I load up the teaser videos of all the models from the shoots. And members get the video shoots of all of the hot, like super sexy nude content. And then make sure to follow Chantal right there. And you can follow her on Instagram, Smoking Hot Girl, super rad. And man, guys, you know, give the like, you know, it's your first time seeing this stream. It's the first time I ever did the stream. So give it a subscribe, like, smash the like button, thumbs up, comments, share, all that stuff. It helps so much. And this was fun, man. This actually went a lot smoother than I initially thought this was going to be. You know, first time doing this, having everything set up, but I really want to do these sessions for you guys because people just always ask me what's involved and all this stuff, and you can kind of see what goes into like just editing all these images after the photo shoot. So I want to bring you guys onto these shoots with me, just so you see what's going on. So you know, I do the behind the scenes videos on this channel, John Cocozza, and you guys get to come on the shoots. You get to see the how-tos, the behind the scenes. And now we get to hang out and chat and see the images. So hopefully what I'd like to do is get into a system where you guys get to see the behind the scenes of the shoot, and you see that video, and you only get to see a couple, you know, like 1 or 2 images, 3 images from the shoot. But then we all can hang out here on the live stream and just chat, and you guys can see the behind the scenes images. You know, I'll let you guys pick images that we're going to work on, you know, probably do something, you know, like we'll, you know, super chat, you know, like which is people's favorites and what, you know, which image we get to work on, something like that. And who knows, even like pick, you know, images for the magazine, what's going to get featured, you know, and then engage everybody in the process of what it's like to put together Bikini Girl magazine. Because it's actually a lot of work. You know, it's only $6.99 a month, but it's a ton of work on my end to do all this stuff. As you saw tonight, we only got through probably about 5 or 6 images in 90 minutes, but I had fun. I hope you guys did too. And man, that's a wrap, dude. So go to sleep.